In 1971, America came just days away from creating a national child care system and moving toward federal support for working parents. The bipartisan bill passed Congress. It was ready for the president's signature, and then a presidential veto changed the next 5 decades. By the early 1970s, women were entering the workforce in record numbers. In 1950, about 33% of American women worked outside the home. By 1970, it was roughly 40%. But the real change was who was working. Policymakers had expected mothers to stay home, but now many were entering the workforce. At the same time, American family life was shifting. Suburbia had spread across the country. Families moved farther from cities and farther from grandparents and relatives. Multi-generational living declined sharply. The old support network that once absorbed childcare was disappearing, and a single income no longer covered the rising cost of suburban life. Mortgages, cars, and everyday expenses pushed more families toward 2 incomes, but childcare options were limited, expensive, or non-existent. Congress saw the mismatch. The country was still using a 1950s policy model in a 1970s world. Lawmakers drafted the Comprehensive Child Development Act. It passed both the Senate and the House with real bipartisan support. In the Senate, more than 60 senators voted yes, including almost 24 Republicans. In the House, a majority of Democrats and more than 30 Republicans supported the bill. This was not a fringe idea. It was a national consensus. The bill would have created a nationwide child care system, affordable to families across income levels, with sliding scale prices tied to earnings. Supporters believed it would make it easier for parents of young children to work. Some historians describe it as the closest the United States has ever come to building the foundation for broader family support policies. Then it reached the White House. On December 9, 1971, President Richard Nixon vetoed it. His own domestic policy advisors supported the bill. But his political advisor, Pat Buchanan, warned that publicly funded childcare would, in his words, promote communal child rearing. Nixon used that argument in his veto message. That veto marked a turning point. Before 1971, childcare and parental support were not rigid partisan issues. Republicans and Democrats both backed the bill. But the veto reframed the entire debate. Conservatives began to define child care support as a threat to the traditional family. Liberals began to frame it as essential economic infrastructure. In 1993, the National Compromise became the Family and Medical Leave Act, but it offered only unpaid leave for eligible workers, and millions were excluded. Today, the United States still guarantees only unpaid leave for eligible workers. An estimated 40% of workers are excluded from that guarantee, and the United States remains the only high-income nation without national paid maternity leave. A single veto 50 years ago reshaped American family policy, and the country has been living with the consequences ever since. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please consider liking and subscribing. It genuinely helps support the channel.